had a subchorionic hematoma bleed, but I was like, I can feel the joy of this experience being sucked out of my body. Like, well, if this is the last day with my baby, I need to like chill and like play worship music or something.
Yeah.
Welcome to Under the Sun Podcast.
I'm Irene.
And I'm Aileeah. We're so glad you're here. Grab a hot
or iced coffee and join us as we talk about everything under the sun.
Another disclaimer that our children are outside playing in the backyard.
So we are turkeys.
We are real people, and we have turkeys and turkeys, chicken, kids, and cars that drive by. So you'll probably hear that in the background. Also, I just left. My husband was outside lathering the kids with sunscreen, like because he's been out there a couple hours, and they're a bunch of pale, some half Irish, some full Irish, and he was lathering with sunscreen, and Riker was like, "You have to chase me to do it." And he was like, "I'm not going to chase you. Get over here right now." He's like, I'm
boy,
just here to
save your life.
Make sure you don't get at least burned.
Yeah,
I'm okay with like her. She needs to like build up a tolerance to the sun. We've been like slowly doing it, but I'm like, you are still a very blonde hair, blue eyed, pale kid. Yeah. So
my mom was always like crazy with sunscreen.
You're Hispanic,
but look at me.
That's true. I'm
like 15 shades lighter than everyone else in my family. But she didn't. I mean, I was her first kid. And she didn't know, and she's brown, so she didn't think about it.
Yeah.
So we were in the sun. I don't know if I was one or like just shy of one, but I sunburned so bad I got 2nd-degree burns. When I was an infant, so I don't remember.
Jeez.
And so she said she was just in the doctor's office sobbing, and the doctor was like, "Well, Mom, I bet you'll never do that again." And then so ever since then, she has been psychotic with the sunscreen. But I mean, if your baby gets 2nd-degree burns, it didn't scar me for life. So still
that
pasty.
Tells me. Like there has to be, like I want to know your genetics. Like 23andMe is so corrupt. Don't ever give them your blood. But I want to know, like, is your second side actually Hispanic?
Spain.
Okay.
So one side is Spain and one side is Mexico.
So they're paler.
Yeah. Spain is pale, green eyes. Mexico is brown eyes.
So you got a lot of the Spaniard side.
Yeah. You know, every family has like one aunt that's super into genealogy.
Oh, every single.
And this one aunt, she gets really offended if you call her a Mexican. Like some Mexicans, and she'll stop you and she'll go, "We're Spanish." And I'm like, I'm kind of Mexican too, so I can say that. But she would get very offended if you called her a Mexican.
You're not offended. You were just making a joke about landscaping earlier.
I also housekeeping your coffee table while I was making coffee.
What does that mean? You cleaned it?
Yeah, I was like, I just need to wipe this really quick. And then I was laughing to myself like, housekeeping. But also, I love a good clean.
I love it too. But like our coffee, we grind our coffee every day. And we have had, it was literally, my husband never impulse buys except for the tractor. Let me tell you, it's bigger than any of my impulse $5 boots at a garage sale. But I digress. Yeah. But at one point, like, we were living in our rental house in Peoria, and he spent like $200, $260. It was like a lot.
On what?
On a coffee grinder.
Is that the one that's there?
No.
Okay.
That's the one that just broke. It lasted a year and a half.
That's it?
Mm-hmm. Apparently, you're supposed to clean it every 3 months and like
get the grit out.
Well, like you literally had to like disassemble it, clean it out with like a little brush, and like put it back. I'm like, and then order these special beads to like run through and clean it. And I'm like,
oh, interesting. What, on with plastic in your coffee?
Yeah. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do that. And so we just got this cheap one, and it does the same job. The coffee tastes the same. And it was like $40.
Yeah.
But it's still like, it just goes everywhere. I don't know what it is about grinding coffee. It makes it like
everywhere.
It makes it like electric, and it doesn't go the right places. Yep. So I just kind of gave up. I'm like, we're just gross there. That's the part of the house that you're like, why didn't they clean this before people come over? And I'm just like, I'm not
No, I get it, because I made coffee. What made me think about cleaning it is I ground the beans, and then I scooped it, and then it went everywhere. I was like, oh shoot. I was like, well, I'm going to clean up my mess. I might as well clean the whole thing. And then there's one less thing you have to think about.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate
it.
But
I was chuckling to myself as I was scrubbing. I also have the other part of me is like very heavily Native American, and none of my Spanish family, I guess either side, both sides, because I've asked them, like, what kind of Indian do we have in us? And everyone's like, we're not, like, very abrupt. And I'm like, okay, my cheekbones like touch my eyeballs, like something somewhere. And my mom finally one day, she just like I'm not going to say what she said because it was really funny, but it was slightly racist. But also she's brown, so she can be apparently. But I'll tell you off camera because it was really funny.
I think I've heard it.
Yeah, okay, probably. Because she said it this last trip too.
Yeah.
Because I was making fun. I was like, yeah, because my mom won't tell me what kind of Indian we are.
Said, you're racist. And she was like,
they won't tell me. And I'm like, guys, I'm paler. Like, there's a lot of
you apparently have some
physical
secrets.
signs.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. We have a Cherokee. Like a lot of,
yeah.
I don't know about a lot, but we have some Cherokee in there.
But anyways, all that to say, I burn maybe once in the summer, but then the rest of it, I just kind of stay like a pale tan. My kids haven't been in the sun. We do like the long sleeve swim things. So no one's really gotten like a full sunburn. I don't know if that means they won't full sunburn because there's enough pigment in them or...
Yeah, but aren't you afraid they're not going to get enough vitamin D?
No, because they're outside enough in bursts. But we don't sunscreen them right away either. We wait a little bit. But if we're going to go to like a water park, then I want them in long sleeves because we're going to be playing. They're not going to want to relather.
Yeah.
But
let me tell you though, Leo did get a sunburn the other day. We both did. Like your belly. My belly is peeling down here. Nor my happy trail. That and like give them an apple cider vinegar bath and it goes away. Like it goes away.
Yep.
She was like, I mean, pretty pink on her arms and like you could see like her like farmer's tan.
Yeah.
But it was just like it was one of those overcast days where that just like you gotta forget every season. You're like, like I feel
it's
okay.
been the winter, so even if you're in the sun, you're not getting burnt too.
But now she's like we've been outside every single day and we're kind of building up her tolerance and it's we haven't put on sunscreen all season and we're outside every day. So but I'm also intentional. I'm like,
sunscreen are you using?
I think it's the Badger.
Because we have Badger. Because I know people are probably going to wonder. So we use Badger. And there's another one we have, Baby Ganix.
I haven't used Baby Ganix, but...
I like Baby Ganix spray if I'm being extra lazy.
Yeah.
Don't love what's in the spray, but I'm always just like, hold your breath. And then I'll spray them really quick. But
yeah,
Badger if I'm being not lazy.
Because it is a rub-on, but... I'm also very into just like intuitive sunning, like for myself, like as a Irish, very moly, very pale, green-eyed girl.
Yeah.
I just kind of like take stock of my skin, and I can kind of like I can just most of the time, besides that first burn, like otherwise it's been a couple weeks. For Leo, like I'll take out a long sleeve shirt and just throw it on her, and then throw a hat on her.
Yeah.
And it's fine. I don't think sunscreen is the answer.
I shouldn't have eaten food.
You burping?
My gallbladder's pooping out, everyone.
But you're going to go get ox bile on the way home.
It works great. If I take ox bile, everything's good. But I'm going to
How do you clear out your
not to
gallbladder?
Burp. It's a good question.
We should look into that. Have a gallbladder.
Somehow my stomach acid, I know my stomach acid is low. So like if I eat a lemon before bed, if it's really bothering me, like it'll chill it out. But ox bile is the fastest. So
yeah.
But all that to say, if you're burping, sorry about me. I keep trying to also let the record show that there's no ice in this.
You could have grabbed ice from my freezer.
Oops. And now there's coffee on your couch.
Is it coffee?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, it kind of looks more like, I was like, are you sure it's strong enough? Because I used 3 scoops. Looks like tea.
We also just don't.
Do you not fill it up to the 12?
I do fill it. We do. We just maybe drink it a little thinner than everybody else does.
Maybe.
I just am not, like we went off coffee, I don't know, a couple months ago. For a couple months and then just kind of reintroduced it slowly and haven't gotten back to drinking like full strength.
We are like redoing our budget at our house this year because we have some other stuff we want to prioritize in our lives. But I'm forcing my way to work it into the budget to start getting Danger coffee again because that never gave me the jitters. I love that it's certified mold free. It is pricier, but they also
have 7 weeks coffee.
Yeah, they also have decaf that is non-bleached, no chlorine, no bleach, no mold, and they sell like a big. It's like $88, but it's like a big 5-pound pack of decaf. Hashtag UTSP10 for 10% off of your order.
Oh yeah, I forgot we had a code.
But also, I tried to use our code the other day and it doesn't work. So I think it. And then I reread the fine print. It works on your first purchase.
Yeah. Just use a different email.
But
sponsors don't listen to me.
UTSP10. No. But no, I really do love that coffee.
That's good.
And I was promised, which I don't believe him. Love the man. No, he wouldn't lie to me.
He's lying to you.
He said,
he's lying.
if I go off of coffee for 6 months, he'll take us to Disney. Or me to Disney. Forget those kids. Because he's like, what is the one thing I could bribe her with that would make her actually consider it?
I think that's what
And
is
he said
stalling
Disney.
your health.
And
goals.
I was like, I will do it, but if I believed you. And he says, I promise. And I'm like, and the man does not break his promises. But I was like, I literally don't believe you. I think I'm going to go 6 months without coffee.
You could be 95 years old before it happens.
6 months without coffee, and then we're not going to go. So I need to put more like stipulations on my handshake before I handshake to that.
I think you should. Can't make eye contact with that.
I couldn't swallow because I was laughing.
She should.
What a slam. Oh, man.
I have a very inappropriate story that I will never be able to share with you, but I want to.
You're going to have to now off camera.
I can't. I can't share it. But like, just know that something awkward happened, okay? And I didn't know what to do with myself.
Oh, no, you have to tell me now.
So I just panic laughed the whole time. for normal amount of time. And he was like, why? Oh, because he was like, you can't. Oh, yeah. So
Oh, no.
I'm forever alone in this story. We'll be on my deathbed. I'll be like, remember that podcast? I'll be like, now's the time. Anyways. Whew. Okay. Is my makeup running?
Nope, you're good.
Okay. Well, howdy doody. We're going to talk about just like a first trimester recap.
30 minutes later.
Yeah.
Only 13 minutes later.
That's not bad. We're getting better. I feel like we're getting better. A lot of tangents, but currently I'm well into my second trimester. I'm 17 weeks as of yesterday.
Good.
So as of the day we're filming.
Yep.
I'll just kind of back up. So like in case you didn't watch the episode where I shared that, for one thing, I was impregnated in the first place. But that I had a subchorionic hematoma bleed on April 1st. Sorry, Riker's birthday. That's how I remember.
Yeah, that's okay.
But it was like I woke up and there was, gushes of blood. And obviously you think the worst when there's things like that. And then had to go not an emergency, but kind of like an emergency sonogram just to see what was going on. And I asked ChatGPT actually to to describe, because they hand me the paperwork about all the description about the subchorionic hematoma, the things like the details that they didn't go into, like the length and all the things. And so I uploaded it to ChatGPT and I was like, tell me, decipher this lingo about my cervix, uterus position, all these things, and tell me what it is. And holistic remedies to mitigate or heal it or whatever. So
sorry,
that is the 11th time you have bumped that mic.
It's because my hair is making my head itch.
That's weird.
Carry on.
Your hair is always there. And so since that was, we don't do dating ultrasounds because I track my cycle very diligently. And so I knew when we conceived, but that when I went in for that scan, they considered it a dating ultrasound because it was still in the first trimester. And so
that's annoying.
So technically, based off my calculations, I was 10 weeks, 5 days. Excuse me. I also ate chips and salsa. And then they said it was measuring 11 weeks, 5 days, exactly a whole week ahead. And so
you and your big babies.
Forgive me if you're Catholic, but sometimes I make fun, make fun, but I'm like, please, Lord, I don't want to keep having, I don't want to be known as the big baby lady, because also that's probably metabolic dysfunction. But
You guys are both tall people, though.
We are big people. Yeah. We're just.
Oh.
But anyways, so that happened.
That was you, not me.
It was me. You're right. My man. So then it bumped me to 11 weeks, 5 days. And then, so I've been on progesterone ever since. Hindsight. And because like they put me on progesterone and vaginally, you're welcome.
What people would want to know.
To, this is going to get friendly. To relax the uterus. Because like basically, like I think I told you this, that like I felt like I couldn't wear certain pants like almost immediately.
Yeah.
Because like it felt like, you know, if you've been pregnant, like it's too much pressure on your stomach, like hurts after like, you can wear it for like a half hour and then like, you're like, okay, I can't wear these pants anymore. I felt it like almost immediately. Like it was kind of one of the indicators. I'm like, why is that? And so like, I wonder if that pain and discomfort was a little bit of like, my uterus was a little agitated from the beginning and I just didn't know.
Yeah.
And so I kind of grew accustomed to like that discomfort a little, like just in my, it never quite felt comfortable. And so I got put on one suppository progesterone a day. And then I would still like be like I would like just vacuum my liver. We don't have a big living room. But like I would need to lay down because I was so crampy. Like early labor. It felt like early labor.
Yeah.
And so I would have to lay down then for 30 minutes to an hour to like chill out. And it's hard to do those things when you have a toddler and a homestead and, you know, you're the primary caretaker of the home and all those things.
Yeah.
And then we had two other, so 3 total bleeding episodes. Yeah. Which is very obnoxious and not obnoxious, but like it's traumatizing.
Yeah.
Every time it's traumatizing because you're like, oh, is this the time that it's the worst case scenario? Like maybe the hematoma, maybe it completely lifted and all these things. And so I felt like I actually felt super awful until like I had Dave pray over me. Yeah. So I was like, I feel like, and I don't like blaming the enemy for everything. Yeah. But I was like, I can feel the joy of this experience being sucked out of my body. Yeah. Like, do you know who Procter & Gamble is?
I wish I didn't.
They're the owners of Pampers and Loves. They help fund the murder and mutilation of children. Did you know that?
Which is bizarre for someone who claims to care about your child's rear end.
Not to mention that, but also their stuff is filled with harsh chemicals, endocrine disruptors, carcinogens, like in the diaper on your kids' most sensitive parts. It tells you exactly who they are and that they actually don't care about your kid. They care about getting your money for their product. I have made the switch and I have not looked back once. Good. It's with Every Life. They are non-toxic diaper company, but they auto ship to your door and we have a code with them now because I use their product like we always do, guys. We use the product first and then we're like, we reach out. We're like, guys, we want to talk about you on the podcast because we think our listeners would actually really benefit from this information. Yes. So, or this product. So, anywho, but we have a code with them.
Woohoo! Code UTSP10.
And you get 10% off your purchase, which I don't think you'll regret at all. It's non-toxic, super soft, really like, it feels like a nice quality. And it doesn't feel like plastic, if that makes sense.
And they don't support murder. They don't support murder.
Okay, UTSP10, bye. Because it's waxing and waning of like, we got the sonogram and everything was great. And it's like, oh, this is awesome. And then and then the cramping just continued. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just take it easy. But then again, like I've mentioned, how am I supposed, like, what are you supposed to do with 50% when like.
You have birds, we have
birds, we have 4 acres of mowing and I can't ride a riding lawnmower and a toddler and just the way we eat, which our diet has changed. Maybe we'll share about the lack of care. I mean, lackish.
Your lack of care is still like most people's worst nightmare of health food. So
thank you. I appreciate that. But so that, and then like basically like from the 1st until the 25th of April, we had the 3 kind of big events of hematoma. And then like, I never went a day where I didn't like have some type of brown when I wiped, you know? Yeah. At least it was old blood, so I felt a little bit better. So I'm like, maybe it's just like stuff that's, you know, whatever. Yeah. And so it was just like this up and down. And pretty much like I shouldn't have let it go that long of waiting like 25 days to like have Dave pray for me or like tell
Well, it's
my
not
midwife.
like you weren't praying yourself or.
I know, but like I could just tell that like my joy was being stolen because I was like, oh, like, and also like I'm a very much a doer. Like I like to say, like, I for the most part keep our home kind of tidy, and I have systems in place not because I'm good at it, but because I am bad at it, so I have to implement these things. And like I just felt like I'm very much a goal oriented. If I say I'm going to post a podcast every Wednesday, that is what I'm going to do because I like to keep my word. And so like I don't know. I should have probably told Amy sooner, my midwife, that we she'll be coming back on podcast. That like, well, they never said like, hey, like, if the cramping continues, tell us, we'll up it. I didn't think about it. I didn't know. I thought like the amount of progesterone I was getting was.
Because you don't supplement any kind of hormone ever.
No. And it is a bioidentical hormone. So that's a tip. If you get put on a progesterone, like our local pharmacy, a compounding pharmacy was able to do that, which was nice. But long story short, like then like the 26th, the day after my birthday, I had like, that was the bigger third bleed.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, it was disheartening. And then Amy was like, why don't we just do double progesterone for a while? And then I felt fantastic. I had no cramping all day. And so we're not that far into May right now. What is it, to the 7th or 8th?
Something.
And so I was on double progesterone, and then I was like, well, how do we like go about getting off of this? Because you know, they were like, usually like women are off of it by 16 weeks.
Well, is that for risk of miscarriage or for the hematoma?
For the hematoma. That's the standard, which like, I think I'll share like the protocol I followed. Because I also did I'm going to butcher it. A liposomic acid. Yeah. Something. Liposomic. Is that right?
Liposomic, I think.
Something.
I think.
I'll post it right here.
I'll put it both ways.
I'm not even sure like if I'm saying the right thing, but
alpha lipoic acid? Or
yes,
liposomic?
alpha lipoic acid.
Alpha lipoic acid brought my smell back within like 2 days post schmovid.
Nice.
And literally the only reason I heard it on a podcast once, and I'm like, I'll try it.
Did I hit recording on that? Okay, thank God.
It's like, I'll try it because I want to be able to smell my kids' stinky heads. But
well, even Chat GPT, my doula sent me an article by the gal who wrote Real Food and Pregnancy. I can't think of her name, Rachel something. And it was like progesterone, whatever, that acid, vitamin C, and like basically like whole foods, like to like boost immune system and stuff. Because it's sometimes like an immune response that's like trying to get rid of the kid. And so anyways, I've been doing that and it's going well. So like now I'm back on one a day because like I needed to go through a certain period of time without any residual blood, which is all.
Can you explain like what the hematoma is?
Yeah. So a subchorionic hematoma is, so you have the placenta and then you have the uterine wall, and they're supposed to be like flat against each other,
like fused.
Yep, fused together. Yeah. And so either something happens in the formation, I don't know, I'm blaming Dave because placenta health comes from the dead. And either like when it was forming, there was a pocket of blood underneath it that gets trapped, and then as it's growing, it like releases it, or like, you know, some type of hormone balance, like progesterone not increasing as fast as it should. There's quite a few different options you don't really know. And then like the placenta will start to separate from, so like mine was
from the uterine wall, right?
From the uterine wall. Yeah. And so it like, there were points where like, I have to look at the ChatGPT description of like, but my hematoma was on the larger side. And so like like a larger chunk of my placenta was separated from the uterine wall. And they base it off of how big the amniotic sac is. Don't freak out. There's a beetle on your leg. You want me to flick it off?
Get it.
I'm gonna cry. I gotcha.
Thanks.
I flicked it.
Thanks. I'm sweaty.
Are you?
My eyes are watering. Every time like Jacob gets to heights, he gets like nauseous, and he'll try to push past that fear because he doesn't want to be afraid of heights. He just
Didn't he, like, fall off a building though?
Yeah, I mean, he has justified fell off a 2-story roof, so he has reasons for being. But he like hates that anything bothers him. Yeah. But like he always talks about the physiological response, and I'm always like, get over it, because I'm not afraid of heights. But like, put a beetle near me, it's like all physiological. Like my eyes water, my heart palpitate. Like, Can't handle beetles.
I wonder what that is for me.
I'd rather, like, I would literally, you have rather said there's a wolf spider on your leg, and I would have been so chill and just bumped it. Tarantula, spider, whatever, but like not a beetle.
Yeah. So
I'll tell you why on another. Yeah, I'm good. I'll tell you.
Why?
When I was 8, back when I was a child, I was outside playing with my friends, and I grew up in the desert, so there's rocks and there's sand and stuff. And like you're running around, so rocks are getting kicked up. I remember I was laughing because my friend did something, my neighbor did something, and it landed on my tongue. And there's pebbles everywhere, right? So I'm thinking like, oh, that's dumb. A rock landed on my mouth. So I went to get it.
Stop.
You just don't listen. I'm going to tell them. I went to pull this rock out of my mouth.
You're literally in my head.
It was stuck to my tongue, like the little things that stick. And then I had to rip it off my tongue, and it was a June bug. And I just cried. And literally ever since then, I cannot handle beetles. But it was like stuck to it wasn't just in my mouth. I had to pry it off my tongue, and it made me want to die. So I can tell that story without getting a response. Can't look at a beetle without like full body. Okay, carry on. Thanks for saving me. Carry on.
I hate that.
Hematoma.
I feel kind of icky. I'm super icky towards ticks. Like I
get that way too. Yeah.
But I did use ChatGPT, like your favorite tick spray.
It's my favorite tick spray.
It's great, but like we use
You're outside
bug spray
every day.
Every day.
And we use it once every 2 weeks when we come here.
Yeah, and so like spending $20 for a tiny bottle, it's cheaper in the long run for me to buy all the individual ingredients. And so I use ChatGPT to like put it all into like a form, like the formula, like, you know, so many tablespoons of, you know, geranium or whatever. And now I have basically exactly it, like, and then
I sprayed the kids outside, and Leora goes, "Can I have some of yours?" I said, "Sure." So I sprayed her in front and back, and then she gets your bottle. She goes, "I have some," and so she came over and sprayed my legs. So I was like, "Oh, thank you, so sweet."
Well, just know it's the same.
I mean, so sweet.
Anyways, where was I at? I can't remember.
Hematoma.
Yeah, so that's what a hematoma is, and so I wish I would have said something sooner, but now,
but you didn't know.
I didn't know.
Assumed like the one is doing its job, and
and I just thought like, oh, like this is what it's like to have a hematoma is that like you just have to lay down you do a task like vacuum the living room, and you need to lay down for an hour.
Yeah, which still isn't a bad thing.
No, but it messes with your psyche because I'm like basically I would wake up, try to like make coffee and scramble some eggs, and then I would need to like lay down, and then like poor Leo who like it's like getting warm, and I'm like we don't have like a great lay outside situation. It was before the hammock was up and stuff, but I just feel bad. And like kind of the only thing that would help was me like laying on my side. So it was hard. It's still like, I could tell like before we started these podcasts, because I'm down to 1 a day, which is fantastic. Because also my vagina swelled shut. And so like
that's a side effect that people probably wouldn't talk about.
It swells shut,
so if guys. You have to take vaginal suppositories.
Yep.
Just know.
The second I upped to 2 a day, I was like, nope. And so I'm like, okay, I definitely believe in like, listen to your body. Listen to your body. What is it telling you? Mom was telling me, don't give me that suppository. But like, I'm like,
but you felt better. So maybe
I
it was
felt
just
better. And I only
side effect.
technically have done like, I only did like 5 days of double because I needed 5 days without any spotting, nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know that the number might be arbitrary or something. But after 5 days, I still haven't. And then now it's been, we might need to switch.
27 minutes.
Okay. And now it's been like 10 days of no spotting, which is the longest stint since I found out about the hematoma, which is nice.
Yeah.
And I actually have the energy. Dave was like, the last 3 days, he's like, you just seem like more like yourself. I'm like, yeah. I was like, I'm not on a hormone. Like I'm not on as much of a hormone / like I'm not crampy every 10 seconds. I'm not feeling like a failure because I can't like, which I know. Like most people would be like, oh, I'm 50%, can't do anything. Whoops. I wish I could.
I feel like at this phase of my life, I'd be like, oh darn, I can't leave the couch. See y'all later.
But I like.
Yeah.
Like we chose this lifestyle for a reason.
Yeah.
And so
my 50% is like, oh, I can't cut someone's hair. Yours is like, if I don't get the chickens in, something's going to eat them. So like our definitions of like laying down are different.
Yeah.
Like you have to feed the chickens or they're gonna die on you. Yeah, I don't have to cut someone's hair. So
and like how it happened, like Dave took over nighttime, like putting the chickens back in and stuff and grabbing the eggs and stuff, which it sounds like not a big deal, but it is kind of, it's on the furthest almost
Yeah.
not the furthest, but like
Yeah.
it's pretty
Pretty far out
far
there.
in of our property. So it's a good trek. And there's a drainage ditch running through. But it's far, whatever. And there's a ditch. And so Dave was like, and it's spring, so it's raining every other day. And so he was like, I'll do it at night because I'd hate for you to like slip in the day.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're on 50%. It's fine.
Yeah.
I can pop
Yeah.
out and do it. And so there are things that like he did take over. Also, like we're in the middle of basically like our whole upstairs has put like we were kind of, our hand was kind of forced to replace the floor because we found mold and there was a leak and all sorts of stuff. So good times on that. But as the perpetual parent delusion, it's like after this is all over, things will get easier, guys. But at least like I have the energy now to podcast and like set up, and it's not like completely like I mean
Not
it's like
wiped.
it's not only just wiped, but it's like it was like preterm labor.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't Braxton Hicks because it wasn't like my skin was getting tight.
Yeah.
It was like
internal. You could tell it was internal.
It was internal. It was like my uterus was contracting, which then like brings so much fear of like, okay, like if I don't listen to this,
are you gonna boot this kid out?
Yeah. And it's like it's traumatizing every time. Yeah. And I scarred poor Leo because she saw me crying one time, and she like she didn't know it because she's never seen me cry. I don't just because it's kind of like been scarring and of basically thinking you've lost your child 3 times is hard. But Leo saw me crying after the 3rd hemorrhage because like Dave had to go to a meeting, and he's like, but like that we ordered then a Doppler, which with Leora we didn't do any Doppler. We did 1 ultrasound at 20 weeks, just to make sure things were good. But this time, like we've already done 1 sonogram and 2 Doppler events. And we can talk about why we don't want to do that, or why we don't do that at another time. But
which I know you and I talked about it before, and you can cut this out if you don't want to talk about it. But like you were saying at one point when we were talking, it's easy to get so wrapped up in, well, I'm holistic, so I will only ever do this. Like it's nice to know, like, okay, if push comes to shove and it's the life of my child, I'll take
the hormone, necessary.
I'll do the Doppler. I'll do, so it's not everything. I feel like the health community makes it so.
Well, you shouldn't have done the Doppler. Yeah.
Like the health community, you and I have talked about this. Like I'm
toxic, non-toxic world.
Almost over the health community, but I'm not. No. But they're kind of giving me like the Baptist churchy vibes. Like, oh, you did this, so your hormones are off. It's like sometimes your hormones just go off because we live in a world where there's aluminum in our sky. Like, we're doing the best we can. But it's just good to know, like, good for us to know, like, okay, when we had that run of strep and it wouldn't go away and my kid is rashed head to toe and I'm like, are you going to stop breathing on me in the night? I gave him the antibiotic. It's like, okay. Do we think that you need to be at the doctor's every other day? No. Will we do what we have to do for our families when the time comes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because like I didn't like, I didn't want a sonogram, but also like the situation called for it.
Yeah.
And then the situation that like that was the best day ever when it was like still, it was by the grace of God, like best moment of our life, but still it was like, okay, but you have a hematoma. So like if we wouldn't have gotten that sonogram, we wouldn't have known about the hematoma. And then I would have basically been believing still to this day that something is wrong. Like what's going on.
Yeah.
And so, whereas like everything on the internet is like, it's just a variation of normal. Like it's, you can kind of just bleed in the first trimester. Well, I was still bleeding into the second trimester. And so I'm like,
that's not as normal.
It's not as normal, but it was like really brown, old blood. It wasn't the fresh blood like the first time. And so, and it's just like, it's just alarming anytime you're pregnant and you bleed. Like it's, I don't care. People can say like, oh, I asked ChatGPT, it's like, it's normal. It's not a big deal. And I'm like, okay, but you're a robot. Yeah. And I'm a human being. And this is a child that I love deeply. Anyways. But we got a Doppler. We've only used it the one time, but I was like, if this is going to keep happening, like if I'm going to keep, if this is, hematoma is going to keep like releasing blood through this pregnancy, I need something so that I'm like not being like, okay, well, if this is the last day with my baby, I need to like chill and like play worship music or something.
Yeah.
So I'm just glad it's hopefully on the upswing. And it's just like a weird place to be also, to be like, you're bleeding. It's like, you think it's like the worst case scenario. And then you like, I'm obviously overjoyed, but I also don't want to talk about it too much because I know what people have gone through. But it's also like, Dave and I were both weeping every time it happened, thinking that we're losing our kid. It's just, if we get like, I was going to say earlier, I didn't cry when Leo was born. I felt like a lot of emotion and love.
Yeah.
I was like, this is great. This is the best day of my life.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if we cross this finish line with this kid, like I'm going to be a mess in a thankful way.
Yeah.
But yeah. ChatGPT's a robot. I am a person who like loves my children fiercely, and you just don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my first trimester update.
Yeah. Do you want me to make you laugh, or do you want to stay in your feelings?
I don't want to stay in my feelings.
There's our crying face clickbait.
Yeah. It's just, it's so, and I'm grateful too, because I haven't written a song in a long time.
Yeah.
And I've like semi-completed 3 songs in this like stint.
Yeah.
Just like in my head. I haven't actually like, something weird about my, I feel like a little bit autistic brain is that like I don't have to actually like audibly say anything or sit at the piano. I can like write a song in my mind. And so I'm like, I don't know why this happened. This is not a Job moment like we talked about in the other episode. But I'm like, it's happening for a reason. And I like have found that I'm impressed with God, that I'm like, I like every instance of my life where I thought like, this is the worst day of my life. Like, why has this happened? Or why would you let this happen? Like, I didn't resort to that. It was just like I know that like for the like we have done the best we can with our health. Yeah. And there's like not much else I could have done. And so like if this, I don't know. It was it's just a lot of emotions. Yeah. So I'm glad now 17 weeks and one day I'm girthy as all get out. And Leo talks every day about meeting her sibling, which would be great. And
do you have brain fog? Are you lethargic? Do you have digestion issues? Do you not poop enough? Are you pooping too much? Do you have angry outbursts? Does your butthole itch? Irene, does your butthole itch? Don't answer that. Don't answer.
I'm going to answer.
Well, if your butthole itches, what does that mean?
Question. That means you have a worm.
Or many worms.
Lots of worms.
And I know what you're thinking. Worms? Are you kidding? That doesn't happen.
I've not left the country.
Yeah, it happens. Guys, like you can go touch the soil in your front yard and get worms from there. Like, because
if you have pets, they lick you.
We're disgusting, honestly. And like food, like produce, if it's not cleaned properly or if it's grown and like, they're everywhere. Yeah. So most cultures cleanse once a quarter.
Yeah. So deworm themselves all the time.
You gotta deworm yourself, and we have the perfect brand for you.
Yes. Roger's Hood is where we get all of our parasite things from. She has this kit. It gives you everything you need. It has 3 tinctures. There are...
And heavy metals, too.
It pulls heavy metals out. It's so great. Yeah. I did it. I'll just say it. I did it. And the very first day that I started the tinctures, an 8-inch tapeworm came out of my butt.
8 inch.
So... And... I mean, I have left the country on like cruises, but it's all sanitary and everything's washed and they're there.
It's just life, and we have to just cleanse regularly. Yeah. So use our code UTSP10 and you won't regret it.
Yeah.
That's my update.
That's a good update.
Thought I was going to get through it, but I didn't.
Well, let's update some more unless you want to save your nausea stuff for your own channel. But that might be good info for the podcast.
Okay. My hack.
You go back to Leo. Did you have morning sickness? Did you have morning sickness with her?
I did.
Or no?
From 6 to 10. But like it was 6 weeks on the dot, 10 weeks on the dot. And that was it.
Did you puke, or were you just nauseous in the morning, nauseous in the night?
nauseous, just like a dull nauseous all day long.
Yeah.
It was significantly less than this.
Yeah.
Significantly less.
Yeah.
But also I can't tell if that's like my brain sugarcoating the past, you know?
Yeah.
But I do remember thinking like, well, why haven't I
You
gotten fired
complained
from
a
my job?
lot less than I do. So I can't even tell you if you were sugarcoating.
Don't ask Dave. Well, I don't think I had ever really felt nauseous before being pregnant. So like I had no gauge.
Interesting.
Like
Okay.
I'd never really
Like
besides, like, oh, no, I have-
so now I'm like, good. Now I have an excuse to complain about it.
I have like like we've all gotten like food
Like your-
poisoning or
yeah.
whatever, and like you're nauseous and you get sweaty and your mouth gets all wet
Yeah.
and you're like then you puke.
Yeah.
I've never I'm like even with this stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, is this what women with period cramps feel like? I'm like, I've never had period cramps.
Yeah.
Like I've had a couple stints like where I was exposed to someone who just had the Schmovid vaccine and wait, I think I blurred the wrong word.
Schmovid, schmeck, schmee.
Schmovid. And like I had like 3 months where it was like heavy, intense cramping, but like otherwise it only like lasted for like a day or two. But
Yeah.
I was like, good gracious.
Yeah.
Like this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like cramping is just like it is obnoxious. But when it comes to nausea, when it was just like before I knew about the hematoma and before I was on progesterone, I know it's gross and I get it, but you have to just like put it past, like put it out of your brain. But
is it that gross though, or are we just weird? Because you always preemptively tell people it's gross, and I'm not that gross. Just suck it up and eat it.
Well, I sometimes get a little grossed out just because I know about parasites, and so I'm like, is this actually like causing more harm than good?
Yeah.
But listen, we buy a quarter of a cow every 6 months or so, and we get liver with it every time, and so it's like a well-sourced beef liver that's been in our freezer. And most of the time I shred it and put it in our food and you can't really taste it.
Yeah.
But I was just desperate and I knew like beef liver is high in B vitamins and I was just like, I have a homestead, I have a kid and like my house is disgusting. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
And so I just like, I don't even know why it came to my mind, but I shaved off like a chunk, like a pill-sized chunk of liver.
Like with a knife or using a cheese grater?
Like a knife. Like I just used my butcher knife and like just kind of sawed until it like a chunk popped off.
From frozen.
And so like it's like you gotta like kind of work at it.
Yeah.
And then I plugged my nose, put it under my tongue for a minute as I was like grabbing my water, and then I just swallowed it down like a pill within 3 to 5 minutes, guys. Nausea completely gone, and I was like cleaning my baseboards. Felt good.
Yeah.
But then at that time still felt crampy and like I couldn't wear tight pants because it was uncomfortable. But I didn't really. I was like, oh, I guess I'm getting bigger the second time around, and it's just more uncomfortable this time because my everything's just stretchy McGee. So yeah, try it. It does not work with progesterone nausea though.
Yeah.
So like,
Do you get nauseous from progesterone?
not it's a different type of nauseous though.
Yeah.
But it's
Like
not as
like
constant.
not artificial, but like you can tell it's not.
Well, I know it's artificial because it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like when I pretty consistently could get the nausea to go away. But again, I was having those exhaustion spurts where I needed to lay down, but never made the connection that it was like an underlying issue.
Yeah.
But as of now, like nothing is high risk. We have our 20-week ultrasound the first week in June. And so, I want
Give me that envelope.
Well, I don't know what to do. Last time we did a gender reveal and I want to do a game again. I don't know, like, do we do the same game? But we have a family member who's severely allergic to latex. And it's gotten worse over the last couple of years. And so I want to be respectful of that. Like I wouldn't want someone to be like, sorry, you're allergic to gluten, but you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I've looked at, like, they don't have any really, they don't really have latex-free option balloons on Amazon.
They do. We have those star balloons that we got for Riker's birthday are
they the one you blow up?
Yeah. You can do helium or air. They're not like rounded and they don't like pop as aggressively though.
Well, it had to be layered. Just remember we had to like layer it last time to make it thick enough?
I don't remember. It was a blur.
It was like black. I think we did black balloons, right?
I'll get you.
But we had to
I can
do
find
2
you balloons. Because these are going to be.
I just looked the other day and I went like 2 pages deep.
They'll be made out of foil, so they're not going to be see-through anyways.
Oh. Well, all that being said, if you have any gender reveal ideas, I just thought it'd be fun to like do a game again. because Leo's birthday party is the following week, and so we'll just like wait an additional week to know.
Yeah.
And then I was just gonna like have you do it. That's okay again, and then unless you want to be surprised.
I
too.
hate surprises.
Okay. Well,
Remember when you surprised me on my birthday and I accidentally started crying?
yeah,
It was a whole
regrets for
No,
me.
I don't want anyone to regret my birthday. I feel bad that you guys feel bad that I'm crying, but I was just going through a lot, and it was a lot. I hate surprises. I don't want to be. I want to know the game. I don't want to be involved in the game.
Now I know that. You could have told me before. I thought you meant like
Jacob knows I hate surprises, but
I literally ran it past him. I was like, hey, do you think this sounds like fun? Do you think she would enjoy it? He was like, oh, she would love a girl's day.
I loved the girls' day.
Okay.
I just hate surprises, and I was going through a lot, and my leg's falling asleep.
Well, now I know because I'm a little traumatized.
Sorry. No, I have to know.
Okay. So yeah.
why
So we'll know, and then but like now it's not as bad. Like honestly, like having Dave pray over me took away a lot of those like
Yeah.
there was just a lot of negative thoughts of like, oh, like now the placenta has been separated for a while. I wonder if it's getting the proper blood flow, or like it could be brain damage in there, or like it's just all the things. And so those thoughts are not really like taking over anymore, but we'll have a sonogram in a couple weeks and that will be good. And then like when I look at my app, it's like only 23 weeks left. I'm like, what?
Then you're gonna have 2 human beings in this world.
Well, and also
That's
like I'm just
wild.
ill prepared in the sense of like,
Even if you were fully prepared, you're still gonna be ill prepared.
I know. Well, I was
There's
fully prepared for Leo. Like everything was prepped and ready, and still I ended up in a Reba shirt in my birth video.
Don't even remember how you got into it.
I don't remember how I got into it, and I'm like, I didn't start out in that bra. Where my titties at? Yeah. Good times.
I'm just impressed you put a shirt on in general. I think it was cold. I think someone got it because you're getting in and out of the tub. It was cold. But like, I'm impressed that you even had the thought to be like, okay, please put a shirt on me.
I don't like to be, and I remember Shannon, my doula, has like a thing you fill out of like, what do you think would make you feel comfortable in labor? And I was like, just leave me alone. Let me do my thing. Lol, everybody was touching me and like apparently I need to like counter pressure a lot. Turns out she had a big ass head.
You don't know what you need until you can think
I know
what you need.
I'm a little hopeful though that like, because basically my uterus is going to be like ripped by the end of this because like it's basically been contracting for 4 months.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you can't get this thing out quickly, like I'm just like, wait a minute, what? With pregnancy being hard so far, I was like, there has to be a little grace somewhere. Is it in the delivery? I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to decide because like we don't think our floor is strong enough upstairs to put a birthing pool up there. And so we were talking about in here in the living room.
That'd be nice with the windows and
the walls.
Still the best song.
Yeah. But the problem is like, what if I want to like step in the shower or something and that shower's not working? It's a mess, but it'll be.
Then let us move onto your property so that my husband can fix it and then you have a shower.
There's just a lot of moving parts right now.
Yep.
Yeah. Side note, my finger's healing really well. Remember when I chopped off my finger almost?
No.
What? Remember the butcher knife?
Oh, yeah.
And I cut open. It was.
Oh, your tendon and everything?
Yeah. I can now touch it and it doesn't hurt. So like that's
it took this long?
It's probably only like a month or 2 ago that I was like, oh, I can actually touch it and it doesn't hurt.
That's weird. I guess my finger took a while before I could touch it and it wouldn't hurt either.
Yeah.
We gotta stop injuring our hands.
Especially our dominant hands. Like we do too much. Okay. Yep. Wow. This has been long and now I'm tired. And
wait, what? I was trying to think of all the questions I would ask if I was watching this video.
Okay.
What supplements are you doing then this time around?
Well, I've already tested for GBS positive, so that's obnoxious. But I'm
when
grateful.
Did they test you?
Amy tests twice, which I'm very grateful for because I was like, why, if it's a immune system depletion response, why would you not test earlier than 37 weeks so you give your body a chance to heal itself so you don't have to have antibiotics in labor?
Yeah.
Which you can still refuse. That's your choice to research and weigh the risk versus benefits. But
I
She
have some
tested.
thoughts on that might be controversial. We can talk about another day, though. Carry on.
Okay, maybe we talk about it. With Leora, I tested positive with GBS at 37 weeks when we had just switched to the home birth or whatever. And I'm not sure that lady knew what to do with me because I was like, oh, I'll fix it. We'll retest it a little bit. She's like, well, they usually don't retest. And I was like, we'll retest in a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I did, like, I have a whole protocol that I followed on my phone. And then it turns out like Amy had like a whole list of like, here's a list of supplements to take for GBS that are like super likely to reverse it by the time 37 weeks comes.
Yeah.
But right now I'm doing like obviously D3, K2. I had her do before. So like literally the day before was my first midwife appointment, the hematoma. And so she did a blood work and she's like, hey, this is a good time to do a full blood panel if that's something you're interested in. Since like we're already here and if there's anything you want to know, and it's like, great, I want a thyroid panel. I want a hemoglobin A1C. I was like, I want full. So I got the whole shebang. And so I followed her. So I'm doing a couple different things. So for the hematoma, I'm doing vaginal progesterone, which hopefully will be done soon. Alpha lipoic acid, vitamin C in high doses, D3K2, like immune support and stuff. Still my prenatal. And then when it comes to my, like I had a UTI when I went for that one too. But like I've had a UTI in forever.
Yeah.
But urinary X is what she had, which I'd never heard of, but it's basically like D-mannose, dandelion root,
Nice.
Cranberry and stuff. And then also using D-mannose powder and then a vaginal probiotic. Like you take it and it's for your vag, not vaginal.
Yeah.
Those things mean different things to me now. And then also like a gut probiotic and then eating lots and lots of sauerkraut and fermented vegetables to like boost my immune system. So
Good.
if I forgot anything, I'll put it in the description, and I can share. I actually had a gal reach out on our Instagram who was like, she's like, you mentioned something about healing GBS. And I was like, yeah. I was like, here's what I did because like, I didn't have a midwife who gave alternative options.
Yeah.
And Amy sent me like a whole slew of things that I could do.
Yep.
And so, and also I'm still doing beef liver. But sometimes I do get the ick on it.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to.
Yeah.
But also sometimes I get the ick on my prenatal too. And so I skip that too.
How's your egg?
Oh, not great.
Your egg ick is back?
Yeah. Do you see that egg sitting over there?
Oh.
No.
So not just like scrambled eggs, like all eggs are kind of doing it
If
now.
I douse it in something else.
Yeah.
Or like if I.
Well, boiled eggs on their own are never
No.
delicious.
I used to be able to do it no problem. Egg whites, I don't know what it is. If that egg white is covered in hot sauce, no problem. If that egg white is like, or all of it is smushed on like a piece of sourdough toast, no problem.
Okay.
But like, that's probably going to sit there until I'm like, either throw it in the garbage or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have Leo
and that
eat it.
started with Leo, right?
Yeah, it started like, egg, I don't know what that is. Egg whites. Didn't you have, well, hot coffee?
It was all coffee. I didn't, both pregnant. That was probably my body's way of being like, this is too much caffeine for this
Knock
kid.
it off, lady.
But I couldn't have coffee for, I don't think I had coffee most of Nova's pregnancy. And I was able to drink cold towards the end of Riker's. But like that coffee you got me post birth, like everyone talks about the post labor meal. And I was like, whatever, like food is food. I'll eat whatever. But that post labor coffee was literally the best drink I've ever had in my entire life.
Did I get it from Starbucks?
Yep. It was a salted caramel cream cold brew, and it was the actual best drink I've ever had. And I get the same every time I go. I get the same thing, but it does not taste as good as that post labor. Like I'm like chasing the taste of that, but that was like a post labor hormone high.
I feel that about the food I ate
Great.
postpartum.
I don't even remember what I ate.
Well, I think
Smoothie
Shannon.
maybe?
Well, not for Riker, but I remember Shannon made you something for Nova. I can't remember what it was.
I don't remember.
Maybe it was a
people would
Lara bar she gave you or something.
Someone gave me an Epic bar during Riker's labor, and I threw it up. Still can't do. But I didn't like those before I was pregnant.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but they were like, here, it's some protein. I was like,
I'll never forget. Oh, I'm so sorry, Sarah Scott. My friend Sarah, I was in her wedding in Idaho a couple years ago, and long story short, she was doing her photos, and then she was like, I'm so hungry, I'm gonna pass out. And I was like, I have a Lara bar in my purse. And so I pulled it out, and she's like doing stuff, and so like I just like fed it to her, and she took a bite, and she was like, never had one. She's like, this is delicious. And then she smiled, and it was all in her teeth, and I was like, you need to go, like kind of wipe your teeth off. And she was like, what? And she's like, oh my gosh, it's everywhere. And it was like, it was a whole thing. Like she had to like get a mirror. I feel so bad. Yeah. So that's what I think about every time. But I remember post with Leo, Dave made ground beef and black beans and rice. Best. Yeah. I still like, I'll make that same thing today. Yeah. Same brands of the things. Yeah.
And it's not the same.
It's not the same. Yeah. No. But
that post birth,
I swear I had that high.
Yeah.
For 6 months. Like it was pretty good for 6 months. But
yeah. Is that your husband or your dog?
I don't know. Dogs are back there. But anywho, that's the update. I'll keep you guys posted. And then hopefully then the next baby update that happens is like the gender reveal. I'll post on my personal channel. And Irene will be the first to know. I did watch my other gender reveal video. And like Riker, you asked him, you're like, what do you think it is? And he was like, Riker doesn't care.
I remember him talking about himself in the third person. That was my favorite.
Yeah. Well, also like, remember when we were you posting your kids then? I watched it. I was like,
we stopped after Nova was born.
Okay. Because I was like
a little bit after Nova was born.
No, that was put him in there. I didn't think about that.
That's okay. He was so little.
Yeah. I think like when I've thought about it, because I was like, newborns don't look anything like their actual final result for the most part.
Yeah.
And so I think we'll probably share what it actually like looks like when it's born. But I don't know. You'll be there. My friend Taylor will be there taking video. We're hiring Libby again to do photos.
Nice.
But like having a designated video photo person.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually I want to do a things I'm doing differently.
Yeah.
This time.
Yeah, do it while it's fresh, because I thought I was going to do that. And then I forgot everything I did for both pregnancies. I'm like, I don't know. Did I do anything?
Yeah.
So.
Well, and one thing I'm definitely doing again is like documenting it, because on paper, there are lots of accolades in my, like, you know, there's just things that you're supposed to be proud of. Like, you know, whatever. The perfect job or I don't know. Playing in front of a huge audience. And like, that's great. That was fun. Whatever. But I'm like, that was the day that like you get to the end of yourself. And I'm like, I like looking back on that and be like, I did that. Like, no, you know, like getting on that stage. I'm like, you know, Dave helped to book it and Jacob helped, you know, do the sound or book it or whatever the scenario is. I'm like, it always was like, oh, someone else's accomplishment. I was just like the face.
I know what you mean. Mind. I know what you mean, but
but that birth, like I am always going to film it and I'm always going to document it. And some people are a little like kind of crappy. I've heard like doulas be like, it's so annoying that people film all the time. And I'm like, this is like the best reminder of your badassery that you could ever have.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm going to film it.
Yeah.
And I don't care. I don't care. But anywho, that's it.
I pushed out 2 humans and nursed them both to 2 and nursed one while I was pregnant. And so it's like no part of me, like,
God bless you.
I don't know. I've done a lot of cool things in life. Literally nothing will top that.
Yeah.
Tandem nursing 2 kids while like pregnant with, like,
I couldn't have done that.
That is the peak of my life. And I'm totally fine with that.
I couldn't have done that. No.
And I'll do other great things. I know that, but like nothing will ever hit that mark of
it's not like
accolade. I don't know. Self patting myself on the back. Nothing in my brain I could ever do in this life.
It hits a pride receptor of like, not like a pride, but like I am like, there's just like, it's probably like a universal female feeling of like, I am proud of how that I did that I got through. Kind of no matter what the scenario is, like, that was hard.
Yeah.
I'm alive and it's fun, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
This is the end.
That was good.
Goodbye.
This content is for educational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice.
Please do your own research and find a trusted medical professional for personalized guidance and advice.
We are not responsible for your decisions based on the information you hear on this podcast.
Bye.
Bye.